forest at the edge of dreaming. There is a forest that exists only at the hour when waking and sleeping finally let go of each other. You cannot find it on any ordinary night. It requires a particular quality of stillness, the kind that settles into you slowly, the way warmth spreads through hands held near a fire. Begin by letting your body grow heavy. Just a little. Let your shoulders lower. Let your jaw unclench. Somewhere, very quietly, the first trees are beginning to appear at the edges of your vision, dark and tall and patient, their roots deep in the kind of earth that has been resting undisturbed for a very long time. The path into the forest is made of something soft, not quite grass, not quite moss, but something in between, yielding slightly underfoot, as though the ground is glad to receive you. The trees here are ancient in a way that is hard to describe, not gnarled or threatening, but immense with a dignity that asks for nothing. Their bark is the grey of old silver, their trunks wide as small rooms, their canopies so high overhead that the leaves become a separate sky, a sky that moves slowly, in a wind too gentle to be felt below. The light filtering down is green and gold and something else, some third colour for which no language quite has a word. You are small here, and it is a tremendous relief. The forest is not silent, but its sounds are careful. There is the low resonance of wind through very high branches, a sound felt as much as heard, a sustained note that your breathing begins, without effort, to follow, somewhere deeper in, water, a stream perhaps, its voice soft and unhurried, threading between roots and stones at its own pace. A bird calls once, far off, and the sound hangs in the air a moment before dissolving into the green and golden light. These sounds do not ask for your attention. They simply continue, the way all ancient things continue, indifferent to whether you are listening and at the same time deeply glad that you are. Following the path deeper, you come to a place where the trees have grown so tall and close that they form a kind of nave, a long, vaulted corridor of bark and root and light that seems to have been waiting to be walked. The mossy ground here holds the faint impressions of footsteps from travellers who came before you, pilgrims, wanderers, dreamers who found this place in the small hours and walked through it and carried something of it back. You are not the first and will not be the last. This knowledge is its own kind of comfort, that you belong to a long, quiet procession of the weary and the searching, and that the forest has received them all. Every path is old before you walk it. You are not lost. You are adding to what already exists. The stream, when you find it, is smaller than its voice suggested, narrow enough to step across, the water clear and very cold, running over a bed of smooth stones that glow faintly from within, as though they remember light. You crouch down for a moment, watching. The stones are pale, white and cream and the faintest blue, and they shift and settle as the water moves around them, making tiny adjustments, tiny accommodations. Something about this is very comforting, the willingness of small things to simply move around what cannot be moved. On the far side of the stream, the forest opens unexpectedly into a clearing where the sky is visible, not the sky you know exactly, but a version of it that belongs to this place, deeper, more deliberate, scattered with stars that seem closer than usual, warmer, the way stars look on the clearest winter nights when the cold has cleaned the air. The clearing is carpeted in flowers that only grow in darkness, tiny, white, with tentacles that catch the starlight and hold it for a moment before releasing it. Standing among them, you have the sensation that you are standing at the center of something, not the center of the forest, but the center of something larger and more patient, something that has been quietly holding you all along. You were always somewhere safe. You simply did not know how to see it from inside the noise. At the edge of the clearing, almost hidden among the roots of the largest tree you have yet seen, there is a hollow. Inside the hollow, light pools, not fire, not lamp, but the same quality of light as the stones in the stream, as though the tree itself has gathered illumination over centuries and holds it here, the way an old house holds warmth, sitting with your back against the bark, with the light around you and the starlit clearing spread out before you. You feel something release in the deep places of your chest, a tension you had stopped noticing because it had been present so long it felt like your own weight, your own shape. Now briefly, you know what you are without it, lighter, quieter, more spacious. Time in this forest does not move at its ordinary pace. This is not alarming. It is one of the gifts of the place. An hour here might be a minute elsewhere, or a minute here might contain enough stillness for a full night's rest. Your body knows how much it needs and will take exactly that. No more, no less. There is no wrong amount. There is no clock to betray you here. No alarm that will intrude. No obligation that can follow you this far into the quiet. You are allowed to simply be a warm, breathing thing inside a great old darkness that means you no harm. Rest is not something you earn, it is something you return to, like a river finding the sea. A creature passes through the clearing. You glimpse it at the far edge, low to the ground, its coat the same silver grey as the tree bark, its movements deliberate and unfrightened. It pauses, looks toward you, its eyes hold the faint reflected gleam of the stars above, two small moons regarding you with perfect calm. Then it moves on, following some route of its own, through the ancient dark, content. You realize you have been holding your breath slightly and let it go, a long, soft exhale that seems to carry something with it as it leaves, some residue of the day's accumulated weight. The flowers in the clearing have begun to release their fragrance now, something light and cool, like cold stone and green water, and the fainter sweetness, as though the night itself has a scent, and this is what it is. You breathe it slowly. The great tree at your back is warm, warmer than wood should be, as though something lives in it that generates a gentle heat, or perhaps as though all those centuries of stored sunlight are still slowly releasing, so slow as to be imperceptible, except in this particular kind of quiet. You settle more deeply. The ground beneath you is soft. The stars overhead are patient. The forest continues its long, low note, the sound of wind in high branches, steady and unhurried. When sleep comes, and it will come, it is already coming, it will find you here, held by old bark and starlight, and the sound of water running over stones that have never asked to be anywhere other than where they are. You will not fall asleep so much as be received into it, the way the clearing receives the light, the way the stream receives the stones, the way the forest receives you, without ceremony, without conditions, simply opening around you and closing gently shut. Whatever waits for you in dreams will find you here, and it will find you rested, and it will find you held. The forest has always been here, at the night is settling into itself, the way a sleeping person settles deeper into their pillow, without waking, without choosing, simply drawn by their own weight into a quieter stratum. The stars above the clearing have shifted, barely perceptibly, tracing their long, patient arcs. You notice this, the way you notice the sound of your own breathing, not with attention, exactly, but with something softer than attention, a kind of peripheral awareness that asks nothing of you and receives everything. The hollow in the tree holds you with a steadiness that feels personal, though you know the tree does not know you, or perhaps it does. Perhaps trees at this edge of things accumulate something from the dreamers who rest against them, the way stone steps accumulate the shape of footfalls over centuries without understanding what feet are. Either way, the warmth at your back is real. It presses gently along your spine, your shoulder blades, the soft place at the base of your skull, and where it presses, something releases, a small unclenching, like a hand letting go of something it had been carrying so long, it had forgotten it was carrying it at all. The oldest comfort is simply being held without being asked to account for yourself. From somewhere deeper in the forest, behind the tree at your back, there comes a sound you had not heard before, low and resonant, so low it is more sensation than sound, a kind of slow pulse in the wood itself, or perhaps in the ground beneath you, or perhaps in the place, somewhere between your sternum and your spine where breath originates. It is rhythmic and unhurried, like a second heartbeat, belonging to something much larger and much slower than you, something that has been keeping this particular time signature for longer than there have been dreamers to hear it. Your own heartbeat begins, without effort, to follow. The flowers in the clearing continue their pale, quiet work of catching starlight and letting it go, catching it and letting it go. You watch them for a while, without thinking about watching them. A few of their petals have drifted loose and rest now on the dark ground, each one holding the faintest silver glow, as though the light they gathered is still slowly releasing into the cool night air. The air itself feels slightly thicker than ordinary air, not in any uncomfortable way, but the way a room feels thicker and warmer when it has been breathed in by people who love each other, full of something invisible and sustaining. There is more to the dark than the absence of light. There always has been. A wind moves through the high branches, and a single leaf descends from some impossible height, spiraling slowly, taking a very long time about it, as though it understands that the distance between the canopy and the ground contains more than distance. It settles on the clearing's edge without a sound. You find you have been watching it the whole way down, your eyes soft, your thoughts grown pale and unhurried as the petals. The tiredness in your body has changed its quality. It is no longer the sharp-edged tiredness of effort, of accumulation, but something gentler and more ancient, the tiredness of a thing that has been going a long time and has finally, gratefully, stopped. Your hands rest open in your lap or at your sides. Wherever they have come to rest, it is the right place. You notice their weight, the particular heaviness that hands have when they are no longer needed for anything, when they are simply the quiet ends of a quiet body. The warmth from the tree behind you has moved inward now, or perhaps it was always inside you, and the tree has simply reminded it that it was there. Either way, You are warmer than you were, warmer and heavier and slower, and something that might be called peaceful, if peaceful were a large enough word. Sleep does not take, it only receives what you are finally willing to set down. The stream, somewhere behind you and to the left, continues its soft and faithful conversation with its stones. The low pulse in the earth continues. The stars complete their infinitesimal movement overhead. The silver creature is somewhere out in the dark now, following its own unhurried route through the ancient trees, unbothered, certain of its place in the order of this quiet world. All of these things continue whether or not you remain aware of them, and the knowledge of this, that the forest does not need your attention to persist, that it will be here doing exactly this long after you have drifted into sleep, is perhaps the most restful knowledge of all. Your breath has become very slow. There are long pauses now between the exhale and the next inhale, and in those pauses something gathers, not tension, but the opposite of tension, a kind of fullness that belongs to the threshold of sleep, to that country with no name that exists between the last thought and the first dream. The hollow holds you, the bark is warm and rough and real beneath your hands. Somewhere at the edge of perception, the forest continues its long, low, breathing note, and the note contains everything: the water, the light in the stones, the flowers opening in the dark, the footsteps of all the dreamers who walked here before you, and it continues, and it continues, and it continues. Thank you for wandering with me tonight into the forest at the edge of sleep. I hope you find something restful in the dark and the quiet and the slow breathing of old trees. If the story brought you any peace, I would love it if you liked and subscribed. It helps more tired travelers find their way here. Sleep well. May the forest be waiting for you at the edge of every night you need